Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is continuing to play out the successful retest in the short term, while the price is getting very close to a possible breakout on the daily time frame, which I'll talk about in just a moment, so definitely stick around. First of all, just giving you a quick update here on the 3-day Bitcoin charts, because right now, as I'm recording this video, the price of Bitcoin is still playing out this large hidden bullish divergence, because obviously, as you can see here on the 3-day time frame, we have higher lows confirmed in the 3-day candle closes, while also confirming lower lows in the 3-day Bitcoin RSI. And so once again, this is known as a hidden bullish divergence, which is obviously bullish for the price because it is a bullish continuation pattern. And when you're talking about the much larger trend here on the larger time frames, like the 3-day chart, the 4-day chart, or the weekly chart, for example, as we've seen since basically the beginning of this year, the price of Bitcoin has technically been within a much larger bullish trend, forming higher lows and higher highs throughout the majority of this year so far. And then obviously throughout that larger bullish trend, of course, we have seen shorter term bearish trends from time to time throughout this year within that larger bullish trend once again. And once again, this hidden bullish divergence is pointing towards the continuation of that larger bullish trend. And if you're taking a look at the daily Bitcoin chart, obviously, as I've been saying for a while now on the channel, the price of Bitcoin has essentially reversed out of that previous short-term bearish trend into now what is looking like more of a short-term bullish trend, because obviously in between around mid-July and around September, early September, we can see that the price of Bitcoin was trending to the downside in the somewhat shorter term, forming lower highs and lower lows visible here on the daily time frame. But ever since around mid-September, give or take, we have been trending back to the upside, forming higher lows and higher highs in the price of Bitcoin and also in the RSI. In fact, the daily RSI has of course been leading the bullish trend by a few weeks. And while we're looking at the daily Bitcoin price oscillators, just quickly looking at the daily Bitcoin MACD, as of right now, this is still looking more bullish than bearish because the histogram is still in the green and the MACD itself is still trending to the upside. But with that being said, it is not showing as much momentum compared to some of these previous moves. And so essentially, like I've said recently on the channel, we should not expect a massive high momentum movement to the upsides. But once again, it is still looking more bullish than bearish, which is why we're seeing a bit more of a bullish trend play out. And once again, looking at the RSI, this bullish trend in the RSI has been playing out since around the end of August. And clearly it is still currently playing out, forming higher lows and higher highs, and this means that the bullish divergence on the daily time frame is technically still active, which means we should either expect some choppy sideways price action, if not a bullish relief, which over the last few weeks has been playing out as expected. But once again, during this shorter term bullish trend on the daily time frame, of course, we can experience some bearish price action. Just for as long as we don't see more bearish price action than bullish price action, the bullish trend remains intact. And now, just before getting into some other very important Bitcoin charts that we need to pay attention to, first quickly reminding you that there is up to a 30,000 deposit bonus happening over at Bybit. And so essentially, the more you deposit and trade, the bigger the bonus is over at Bybit. But of course, Bybit is now a KYC exchange. And so for those of you who do not want to KYC for whatever reason, there is also Bitflex as a backup option. And when you simply deposit $100 onto Bitflex and start trading, you can actually get a 10 USDT deposit bonus, which you can actually withdraw if you want to. And so you might as well check this out if you're going to trade crypto anyway. And so I'll make sure to leave a link to both Bybit and Bitflex in the pinned comment down below and in the description. So definitely check that out if you want to claim some of these free deposit bonuses. But anyway, getting back into the Bitcoin part of this video, staying on the daily Bitcoin chart, right now, as of recording this video, the price of Bitcoin is running into this significant area of resistance, sitting in between around 27.9K, going up towards around 28.2K. And of course, this area of resistance is not only based on previous resistance, but it is also strongly based on the volume profile indicator, showing a lot of traded volume in that price range, acting as selling pressure. And so once again, in the immediate short term, this is the price range to pay attention to as resistance, because basically, if we see a confirmed breakout above around 28.2K with confirmation, like for example, daily candle closes above 28.2K, or even better, if we we flip that level into new support again, then in that case, we would likely head up towards the next area of resistance here in the volume profile indicator, which is sitting in between around 29.1k to 29.4k approximately. And so basically that is the next price range or the next price target for Bitcoin if we first confirm a breakout above 28.2k, which as I've recorded in this video, the price of Bitcoin is getting very close to that. But of course, while the price of Bitcoin has not yet confirmed the breakout above 28.2k, obviously it still remains a possibility that we could potentially see another rejection. And if that plays out, looking at the 6-hour Bitcoin chart, when it comes to short-term support, we could find some support at around 27.7k, but we have some more important support at around 27.1k to 27.2k approximately, which is exactly where we've just seen a bounce in the price of Bitcoin over the last 1 day or so. And this support at around 27.1 to 27.2k is based on 2 different levels. First of all, this previous descending line of resistance now acting as support, and also this Fibonacci level of support right here, once again at around 27.1k to 27.2k. But in a more bearish scenario, if we actually saw a break back below 27.1k with confirmation, then in that case, we would likely drop down to at least this level, sitting at around 26.7k, and below that, we have the golden pocket sitting in between 26.1k to 26.3k, right around these previous lows, acting as support. But once again, in terms of the shorter term trend here, it is quite clear that the short term trend is more bullish than bearish because we are seeing higher lows and higher highs, at least in the somewhat shorter term here. And as for support and resistance in the Bitcoin order books across multiple different exchanges, right now we have a lot of buy orders in between around 27.4k to 27.5k acting as support. And as for resistance, looking at the sell orders, we have a lot of sell orders in between around 28.4k to 28.6k, which could act as short-term resistance. But anyway, now getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the daily ETH to US dollar chart. And over the last 1 day, we have actually seen a successful bounce from this ascending line of support sitting at approximately 1.6k. But as I also mentioned in my last video on the channel, we recently saw a break below this horizontal area of previous support, now acting as resistance, sitting in between around 1620 to 1660. And so once again, in the somewhat shorter term here, that price range is now acting as a resistance, which means for the bulls out there, we really need to reclaim 1660 and ideally flip that into new support again. Because right now, while the price is below 1660, obviously we are still struggling in the short term in this area of resistance. And as for the daily Ethereum price oscillators, first of all, the MACD is showing very low momentum on the daily time frame. It has not crossed bearish yet, but once again showing very low momentum, which means we do not really have a strong direction on the chart. So essentially, the MACD is actually pointing towards most likely some choppy sideways price action in the somewhat shorter term here. And as for the daily Ethereum RSI, as of right now, this is still trending to the upside, forming higher lows and higher highs, which means the bullish divergence is technically still active. But if we end up seeing a breakdown below any previous low in the price or in the RSI, that would be an invalidation signal for the bullish divergence. But at least for now, that has not yet happened, which means once again, the bullish divergence is still active, meaning we should be expecting either choppy sideways price action, if not a slight bullish relief as the most likely outcomes here on the daily time frame. And if you're zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 6-hour ETH to US dollar chart, just over the last 1 day or so, we have seen a perfect bounce from the golden pocket area of support sitting in between around 1605 to 1610. And we saw the price of ETH bounce exactly up to this Fibonacci level at around 1660, acting as resistance in the short term. But if you're looking at the 50% retracement level, right now this is acting as support at approximately 1635 to 1637. And now obviously if we break back below 1635, then we need to pay attention to the golden pocket again acting as support in between 1605 to 1610. But in a more bearish scenario, if we actually broke below the golden pocket with confirmation, then in that case we have the 78.6% Fibonacci level of support at around 1570 to 1580 approximately. And as for resistance, once again we have resistance at 1660, but if we broke out above that level, we have some more resistance at approximately 1695 to 1.7k. But if you want to know how to make a lot of money in crypto, no matter if the price is going to the upside, to the downside, or simply chopping around sideways in the short term like right now, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how to make money if the price is bullish or bearish using AI, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.